everyone, Ben Cooper Radio, episode number 119. Me and Rachel Guy are back in the house. Back in the house.
Hello.
Hello, Rachel. Very bubbly. Very bubbly.
I don't know why. I've just come off a 16-hour flight from Dubai. So I was just, just before we were talking off air, it's 6 p.m. here in Sydney. And a couple of hours ago, I was absolutely dead to the world with jet lag. But it's now 10 a.m. Dubai time, so I'm raring to go. So I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Well, it's 7 a.m. UK time, and I don't have jet lag, and I don't feel sorry for you because I've been to Australia and I've had Australian jet lag, and it sucks.
It's awful, I know. I was just doing my food shopping earlier. And sometimes when you're so jet lagged, you're just like, oh, I just want to crawl into a hole or just crawl into a corner and just have a nap. Like, that's how I felt. It was awful.
Did you buy loads of food?
Anyway,
did you buy loads of food that you usually wouldn't buy because you're tired? It's almost like being hungover and you're like, I'll eat that.
Actually, it's the kind of thing that I would usually do, but I have a very big shoot coming up at the end of February, and I can't say which magazine it is for yet, but it's potentially going to be a cover shoot, so I have to be in very good shape. So I managed to stay in pretty decent shape whilst I was overseas. I've been traveling now for a month. I've been to New York. I've been to London. I spent time in, obviously my family lives in Abu Dhabi. So stayed in Abu Dhabi and back and forth to Dubai. And now I'm back in Sydney. So I've got about a 6-week run in now to my shoot. So I did avoid all the chocolates and the things, the red wine and the things that would usually sneak into my trolley. So today it was, I had that motivation to keep going. So I was a good girl today.
Nice. Well, we're all refreshed. I'm refreshed. However much I revealed things in my 2 solo episodes previous to this podcast, leading up to Christmas, I was very much, didn't have the headspace for like anything new. I even had a couple of cups of coffee. That's how much I felt that my brain was like just not quite where it is, and I planned to take 3 weeks off at Christmas. I took 2 weeks off. I was already refreshed, and I came back to work a week early. I say work. My family don't think I work. They wonder what I do as a profession, seeing as I don't go out and see clients anymore. Do you find that with your family? Like, because sometimes they're just like, so what do you do? Because you don't do so much of the just standard coaching anymore. I find it funny. Anyway, and I came back a week early because I'm just buzzing with all the things that I want to do. I'm really excited for 2015. I've done loads of work behind the scenes to kind of free up a lot of my time and stuff, which I talked a bit about in podcast 118. And I'm just really excited. We've got the Academy launching in less than a month's time. So if you are a personal trainer or you're a new nutrition geek and you want to upskill your knowledge, then I would recommend the Academy. I think it's the best course currently on the internet. And I say that because we don't just send you a course textbook in the post. In fact, we don't even send you a course textbook in the post. You have to build, we send you a folder and you have to build your educational journey as you go along. Because if I send you a textbook in the post, you're just going to have to read it, or you'll put it down for a couple of weeks and then you'll go back to it. And then we structure the Academy so that you have to do things every week as a commitment to your learning, and you get that habit ingrained in your body that you sit down for 4 hours a week and you take on your personal development. So we've been improving that. We're not far away, fingers crossed, from being rep certified. So everyone that's currently in the program will hopefully get their course backdated to be rep certified. And then we'll look to cover it internationally and stuff after getting the tick for the UK. So that's very cool. And we've also partnered up with examine.com and their research review, which is amazing, by the way. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. If you don't know where the link is, message me on Facebook or something and I'll show you where the link is. We've partnered up with them, so every Academy student now gets a free copy of their research review every month. And I think if you buy it yourself, it's like $40 or something every month.
What?
Purely because we're now trying to create this environment where you just don't miss out on any further development. So yeah, if you want to take your learning to the next level, if you're an ambitious personal trainer, check out the Body Type Nutrition Academy. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And anyone living in Ireland and Scotland, we are bringing the Body Type Nutrition Conference to you in May. So keep your eyes peeled. We're just debating at the moment whether we do Ireland and Northern Ireland, but we will be over in Ireland. We're just wondering if we've got the resource capacity to do both, because it is a lot of travel and there's a lot of coaches that do the conference. Apart from me, that's all my ramblings. Anything that you want to ramble about, Rachel?
Of course, I always want to ramble about things. You know that. Actually, now that I've spent time in the UK, I should have more of a British accent. But I've got a lot of things going on over the next couple of months. Obviously, I've launched a new product in December, which is 21 BBB, which is 21 days to beach, ballroom or bedroom, which is essentially my version of a quick fix diet. I've produced this product, and I've spoken about this on the podcast before. I've produced this product because it doesn't matter how much I educate women. Women will always want a quick fix solution. And the reality is that sometimes you get called to events and you need to be in shape quickly. So I've put together this program which will allow you to get there, to fit into your dress, to be ready for the beach, to be ready for the ballroom, or to be basically ready for a new date. So that's essentially what the product is. A lot of girls are now using it as a kickstart into the new year, and it's going really well. We had some amazing results out of it. So you can find all of that on my Facebook pages. What else is going on? Oh, this month as well, we've got Wimp to Warrior tryouts starting next week. So that's the MMA reality TV show that I'm involved with. I've had to actually employ 3 new strength coaches. So I'm in charge of the strength conditioning section for that show. So the show's growing rapidly. We're actually going to have 60 contestants come through this year. We've had I think we've had 2,000 to 3,000 applications. So it's just crazy, and it's growing like wildfire. So that's a pretty big commitment for the next 6 months. And I've got lots of other things going on as well in terms of online coaching, some 12-week transformation programs with the Sports Model Project, and also a new project that I'm working with actually my trainer and one of my coach, Dane McDonald, and it's called Bombshell Athletic. Now, Bombshell Athletic is a 12-week athletic development program for females. So it's designed to get you fitter, leaner, faster, and stronger. Not necessarily sort of the bikini. It of course it's an aesthetic program, but it's based around proper athletic development, not just looking good in a bikini. So, to be able to jump, to be able to lift heavy weights, to be able to do chin-ups, and to be able to do the things that essentially as chicks, it kind of feels like badass to do. So that's going to be a very cool project as well that will be launching in March this year. So my cards, like yours, are very full. Again, my family does question what I do sometimes when I've always got Facebook open, or I'm always just, chatting online, and, I've got Infusionsoft, which is the customer relations and marketing and sales software that I use. And, my mum peered over my shoulder and she said, "Are you really working? Like, what are you actually doing?
Yeah.
How do you make money?
I get that with Facebook.
How do you make money if you don't actually see people?" And I'm like, well, actually, Mum, I do see people. So no, they're getting used to it now, and obviously this is I think we're coming into the third year properly of Athletic Fox. So they're starting to realise that there are other ways other than the 9 to 5.
Yeah, I'm sitting on Facebook, and Mum obviously gets what I do, but people will say, "Why are you on Facebook?" And I'm like, work. And they're like, what work? What And it's funny because the way that we do things is just so differently, and I think that's what is so exciting about the modern work and career environment, especially in tech and all sorts of areas, but that it does evolve very quickly. But I'll be honest, I think some people can actually find that a little bit stressful, because work and how you present your work and how you market a business and anything, it evolves actually really quickly, and you actually have to have your finger on the pulse. And this is why, I'm a huge believer in telling personal trainers that they need to get help, in their business and with all the things that attracts clients, and to support their business practices, alongside getting courses like the Body Type Nutrition Academy, etc., because it will constantly evolve. You need that help, because if you're not naturally minded about that kind of stuff, then you need guidance. And I think that's something that I'm going to do even more out this year. Is I'm going to outsource even more of my stuff this year, because there's stuff that I want to chase, there's stuff that I want to do. You mentioned TV stuff. I've got one or two little sneaky ideas up my sleeve that I'm trying to work on and stuff. So yeah, like, you have to become a very balanced person in the modern work environment, because it evolves and it changes and it moves really quickly.
You just mentioned something there about having a business coach and business coaching, and look, I know particularly in the fitness industry, the industry's flooded with fitness business coaches, and it really depends on the type of. I mean, I wish that I'd actually gotten myself a business coach a few years back, because it would have saved me a lot of time. And I think what you have to do is look to those people who are, because of course, like anything, I mean, there's, you have fitness models of Instagram, and then you have, proper fitness models. The same with business coaches. You have your online business coaches who, stop sniggering, I can see you there. You have your online business coaches who say that you can make, £1 million in 2 hours. And then you've got, your proper business coaches who, genuinely do care about what you do. And I think you have to find somebody who has got a proven track record of producing results time and time again, and is also very successful in their own right and running their own business. So, it's certainly something that is very, very wise to do, is to find somebody and to basically just model what they do and ask them for help, pay for their time. Something that I wish I'd started earlier on. And, like you just said, I started outsourcing a lot of my marketing last year, and I wish I'd done it sooner.
Well, and this is an interesting concept that I was thinking about in the gym the other day, because this comes down to everything: health, fitness. When I was younger and I started weight training, I obviously did a course or several courses, and I built my knowledge, and I had a certain amount of knowledge, and there it sat, and it was like, right, I can design training programs, blah, blah, whatever. And then, you go through a whole year of training, and you look at your training cycles and what you do and all the rest of it, and you look at the end of your year and you kind of go, do you know what? I actually expected better results, or I expected more change, whatever it is. And you then sort of go, well, and now I need to do this program, or I need to do this program, or I need to be doing lower weights, higher weights, and you sort of go through this cycle again, and you get halfway through the year, and then you're like, I'm still not expecting the results I want. And it's at this point most people should turn around and go, do you know what, I'm going to get a coach, I'm going to get things dissected, I'm going to get a little bit of help, I'm going to invest, a couple of £100 to get this stuff ironed out. But because, if money's, even just a little bit tight, you're like, well, I'll troop on, I've read this article, and actually I've found the answer I think I'm missing. And people do this with their diets, people do it with their training, they do it with loads of stuff. And I just think, and you know this and I know this because we've both done things the hard way, because people always do things the hard way, and there is a certain amount in life that you need to do the hard way. You need them punches in the face that make you go, okay, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah.
And I think about all my training years, and I'm like, fuck, man, I wish I'd got a coach at like year 2 or 18 months in, because I was that person that then went, nah, I'll troop on, I'll do it a little bit more. And I was talking to someone online, and I was actually really reluctant to answer his message, because this guy's been messaging me on Facebook for like 4 years, like ever since I started floating around on Facebook, doing, giving people advice and stuff. And he was like, Ben, do you think, like, if I tried this training and tried to juggle it with that and then did this diet? And I thought, this guy is 4 years in, still asking me if a 5x5 program with X on top is going to help, and if this diet attached to it and all the rest of it. And the amount of times that I've said to him, I was like, why don't you stop all the confusion, just get a coach for a little bit. It doesn't have to be me, just pick anyone, I don't care, but just find someone that can help and aid you and guarantee yourself those kind of results. And I was thinking the reason why I reignited this again is because I was with someone in the gym and they were like, oh, and I've told this guy multiple times to like just go and have an S&C assessment, get a good S&C program, probably cost you like 120 quid for assessment and program and stuff like that, and just follow it and just ask the S&C coach how to evolve it so you don't have to spend too much ongoing money with them. Just tell them, look, by the way, money is tight. I can't afford to come and see you every month, but just set me up and please tell me how to evolve it. And anyone's going to be accommodating to that. You know, you can't say that a trainer's going to go, oh, well, you can't work with me if you haven't got X pounds to spend with me every month. Then that trainer doesn't care, so don't choose that trainer. But I just think of all the years of lost time and progression, and the hardest thing is don't get me wrong, a lot of this does come down to money. Like we're all, you know, when our back's against the wall a little bit financially, we're all sitting there thinking, oh, should I, shouldn't I, I'll troop on. And I just think, do you know what, I would rather have sucked it up, ate shit of food for 2 to 3 weeks, and it, again, invested. And it does take a strong person to work out that we need that investment in another individual to help guide us. But again, I just can't tell people enough how important it is to make 1 or 2 sacrifices financially and go and find that investment that you actually need, whether it's business help, whether it's training help, whether it's diet help, whatever it might be. If you're 50-50, you need it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I literally had a conversation about an hour ago where I've just, you know, like I said, I flew in off from Dubai this morning, and I will confess that I did buy a fair amount of new clothing items in New York, London and Dubai, so I needed to clear out stuff in my wardrobe. And I started clearing out all old uni stuff from my postgrad courses, and, you know, I've got sport and exercise science stuff in there, and, you know, and I just turned to my other half and I said, I wonder how much money I've actually spent on my education. And I sat there and I was like, okay, so I went to private school in the UK, and then, you know, I went to university in the UK, and then I did another stint at university here in Australia, and then the countless courses, internships, private mentoring that I've had. And I do almost find it offensive then when people ask me, you know, what my consulting rates are, and I tell them. And I actually find it quite offensive when people say, well, actually, can you do a cheaper rate? And I'm saying this loud and clear because you would never ask a lawyer for a cheaper rate. And the reality is if you want somebody who's very good at what they do, you have to be prepared to pay for it. And certainly starting out my career, I couldn't afford to, you know, pay for consulting with, you know, some very top fitness professionals and doctors that I went to see. But I did. You make it happen, and I saved sometimes for weeks and weeks and weeks, sometimes months, to go and see top professionals in the field. So if you want something bad enough, you will make it happen. And if you're not prepared to make it happen, then you don't want it bad enough. So stop trying, stop wasting your time. You know, that's what I'm getting to here is you do or you do not. Just stop dicking around the bush. And it's yes or it's no. There's no grey area in the middle, because like Ben said, we've all been there, we've all done it, we've all done this trooping on, grafting and grinding. And the reality is that, yeah, you do learn stuff there, and it is quite valuable for a short period of time. But the reality is you want, fast results, and results that, you really want, then you've got to be prepared to pay for it.
The fascinating thing is once you understand how valuable having someone else is to guide you, the more you realise that, and the more successful you become at whatever you're chasing, the more help you seek, because you realise how important that help is. So I've had a mentor at various different points in whatever I'm trying to work out and whatever area we're looking at. And over the whole of 2014, to be honest, I didn't have like a real strong mentorship sort of figure to help me. I had 2 people, and they helped me loosely, and they helped me because we were friends and we sat down and I gave them advice about stuff, and they gave advice about me and stuff. And I looked back at the year and I thought, I've done a huge amount this year, but I haven't got to some of the different places that I'd actually aimed to, in my personal areas. And I thought that's because the mentors that were helping me were perhaps maybe they were on my level, or they were kind of 5, 10, 20% above my level. And I'm like, I'm not reaching for that level. I'm reaching for 100% more, 200% more. And so I thought, and so the first thing I did at the end of 2014 was schedule a meeting with someone that I wanted to get mentored by, that I've sort of noticed and had cropped up on my radar. And I thought, do you know what, this is going to be expensive, but again, I've got to invest a proportion of my money that I'm happy with, or maybe even unhappy with, to say that that person now has the ability to make my 100% another 100%, and to take everything to where I want it to get. And that's another thing that I've promised myself for 2015. I will go through the whole of this year with what I would call a next level mentor, to make sure that I am pushing myself further and I achieve the things that I want to achieve, which are always big.
I agree as well. You know, I like last year and this year, I've spent so much money on mentors and development and the development for my business, and I can tell you now, there are sums of money there that I shudder when I think about what I've spent, but I kind of like that feeling of, oh my God, fucking hell, this is a shitload of money. Like, I kind of like that feeling because it spurs me on. Like, I always find, like, if I'm comfortable with something, I just don't work as hard. You know, if I'm just comfortable and in the comfort zone, that's not where the magic happens. The magic happens outside your comfort zone. And it's so true, you know, whether that's, you know, in terms of you need to upskill with your education and you're thrown into the deep end and you really, the pressure's on to really, you know, get some more knowledge in, or you invest a considerable amount of money. And then obviously the pressure's on to not just make it back, but double it, triple it, whatever it is, because there's obviously something to lose there. So, you know, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's a line that I've said numerous times on a podcast, I think mainly regarding training, but it also comes down to different aspects of your life. You know, business is certainly one of those aspects, is get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where the fun and the magic happens.
100%. 100%. But I will put a disclaimer in there, purely from the stuff that I thought about and talked to people about on podcast 118. There is nothing wrong with you reaching your goals and being 100% satisfied with wherever your goals take you. I think some people get scared or intimidated by other people's ambition, whatever that ambition is, whatever context we're talking about, and people say, well, you know, and let's talk about it in a weight loss journey. Someone loses loads of weight, they get to their ideal weight, and they get there and they go, do you know what, I'm bloody happy. I'm happy, I can go out, I know how to control my diet, I can enjoy a couple of glasses at the weekend, you know, I find a balance and I'm good. You don't have to realign that ambition. You don't have to say, right, well, now I'm going to go and try and run a sub 4-hour marathon time, or I'm going to go and do this. It is perfectly acceptable to rest in your laurels once you reach that that kind of level that you set to yourself. But what you can't be is put off or scared by other people's ambition. And I think some people get intimidated by people that are still trying to chase something. And there's nothing wrong with standing there going, I'm happy, I'm good, I've got to where I want to be, or I am where I want to be, and that is okay as well. So I don't want people to think, sitting here listening to us talking about what is our potential ambition, because we still haven't got to where we perceive the end ambition goal, and think, oh my God, I need to have that mindset or whatever that Ben and Rachel have. You don't. But you need to know when to push yourself, when to hold back, when to seek balance, when to hustle. And it's all just a personal thing. And, you know, I can't tell you if that is the right or the wrong thing. Well, maybe I could if I was your coach, or I was mentoring you, or you asked me for some advice. But it's something that you very much have to seek internally, based on time, place, and essentially how happy you are with what you've got.
I think as well it comes down to different aspects and areas of your life. You know, like last year and this year in particular, actually last year, you know, was the first year that I actually didn't set personal goals for myself. And the reality is that in previous years, I think even in 2013 I didn't, because in previous years it was all about, you know, I want to get to X% body fat, I want to have a deadlift of this, I want to be able to do X amount of chin-ups. To be honest, over the past couple of years, I just don't give a shit about any of that stuff. I'm really happy in my own skin. I sit pretty much the same body weight year round. I've reached that level of happiness and balance in terms of body composition. So, I train for fun and I train because I love it. And, if I've got shoots and stuff coming up, of course, I have to pull my head in a little bit. But the reality is that my business is my baby. And that's the focus. And that's where I'm excited and that's where I'm driven. So it really depends on the aspect of your life, on what you're focused on and what you're passionate about. And for some, I've just seen one of my best friends, she had a baby a month ago now. And she is very high up in the police force. And it was all about her career. And she was also really into her fitness as well. Like I prepped her for a few bikini shows and she did really well. And now that's sort of long gone in the past. And she's so passionate about being a mom and a family. And so you go through different passions and transitions through life. So, the reality is as well, you can't have it all and it can't all be perfect at once. Because if everything was perfect, then nothing can be changed. And the reality is that what I think is perfect is not perfect to you. So therefore, does perfect even exist? And the reality is as well is that when you have perfect, it means that there's nothing else to be done and there's always something else to be done. So perfect doesn't really exist.
This is why I think the next level of personal development for a huge amount of people is developing bulletproof self-confidence and self-resolve and self-resilience, because when your goals change, you have the strength of character and power to say, this is the change that I want to make, and external influence doesn't affect the way I feel about the change that I want to make. So your transition is exactly the same as my transition. So when I was younger, you're right, it was all about body fat, weights, getting bigger, all that kind of stuff. And while that's kind of on my radar, it's not really that important to me anymore. Don't get me wrong, I still want to look good, I want to feel good and all the rest of it. And I'll sit down, and I did this year, I sit down to write my new training program. And I kind of looked to see where and how much I wanted to train and how much I wanted to do. And I started to program about 20 to 30% more than I knew I would want to do, because my old self was like, well, Ben, you used to do X amount in the gym and you used to do this and you used to do that amount of volume and get out running and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, but all I'm really looking at is maintaining things. And I had to pull back my own self and reel that in, because my shift and my focus is on other stuff. It's about setting up my life, improving my business, setting myself up for when I want to have kids, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of new goals. But for other people, I have a very strong character. Like, being in a rugby environment can really test your strength of character, because rugby, for example, is all about taking a piss out of each other and banter when you're not playing, for example. That is just the environment. And if you don't have a strong resolve, that environment, and this is probably very similar in a lot of team sports environments, that kind of environment can crush people quite quickly if you don't have the strength of character to stand there and just pretty much say, whatever, mate, fuck off. Because people always question what other people are doing. So if you don't have the strength of character to stand there and stand bullyish and high posture and tall about the goals and what you're trying to achieve, you'll really struggle, because you think that you should be doing that other stuff. It's like when people go on a weight loss journey, you become this fitter guy, you become the fit guy or the fit girl or whatever. And then when people see your change of focus, for example, this is a great one. When I was really chasing my fitness goal, I would go out and I would quite often drink water. Or I would drink something that was like 0 calorie, didn't have any alcohol, whatever, because I was 100% focused on my goal. Then when that goal changed and I started to be the guy that again said, oh, I'll have a pint of lager, bartender, and everyone was like, whoa, you can't do that, you're the fit guy, you can't drink alcohol. But because I had a great strength of character, I stood, yeah, well, my goals have changed and I want a pint, so whatever, let's have a good time. But there's other people that can really crumble under that pressure, and there's so many people that will actually say, do you know what, I will avoid that environment to make sure that I don't have to confront that emotion and that part of my character that I can't quite get away from. And I know people in the fitness industry that have gone on a massive journey, have avoided social situations and environments where they might have to eat or drink things that they don't want to drink. And when it's come to realigning their goals because they've maybe hit their goal or whatever, they don't know how to go back. They don't know how to go back to that social occasion where they would have usually gone and gone, do you know what? Yes, I will have a pizza, I will have a beer, because they've gone so far into the rabbit hole and they've changed their character so much that they don't know where to go afterwards. So you've got to work out how you get that sense of character back, how you get that emotion to fuel your goals and have the confidence around people in other areas. And it's really, really important. Like some of the other podcasts that we've recorded previously with guests and stuff can kind of help you with that. And maybe I'll look to set up a podcast again, because I think this is such a powerful topic. Like, if you have inner self-confidence and resolve to do whatever you want and not give a fuck about anyone else, and that's not to say you don't care about people, that's a totally different emotion and a totally different context. You can literally do anything because your opinions and your goals are your own, and other people do not affect those goals and what you want to achieve.
I could take this podcast into a big rant from here.
Do it.
But I won't. You really want me to? Okay, so...
Well, we're obviously not going to get onto the questions, are we?
We will get onto the questions soon, but you know what? Like, I don't know. Right, okay, forgive me if this is just me, but over Christmas and the New Year, I had a significant number of... more number of trolls on my social media and on my YouTube. Now, I don't know if this is because people had more time on their hands and they were surfing the web more and, you know, stalking Facebook more, but people are really fucking rude and nasty, and essentially a lot of it can come across as bullying. I mean, seriously, if anyone fucking spoke to me like that to my face, I would fucking knock them out. Not only because I'm Welsh, but I cannot tolerate that sort of behaviour. Anyway, I digress. I posted this photo about skincare. Now, what these trolls don't realise is that they've boosted my rankings so much on Facebook right now that when it comes to advertising, my advertising is cheaper. So for those fuckers of you who left nasty comments on one of my images, thank you, because you've done me a really big favour. What happened was I posted this photo on skincare, and I happened to be on the beach in Abu Dhabi, and it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, right? I was walking along the beach, and I had this visor on, and I took my shirt off, and I wrapped it around my face. I've got this thing, like, I don't want to age. I'm now 31, and I want to stay looking like a 26-year-old for as long as I can. So I don't put my face in the sun. I wear 100% block on my face, and where possible, I do keep my face out of the sun. Obviously, the rest of my body, I wear sunscreen. It's, 30, factor 30, but I do wear 100 on my face. And so I was going for a walk on a beach, and it was a quite long walk. I was out there for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and I looked like a member of the Taliban. I had my singlet wrapped around my face with my sunglasses on and my visor, and my face wasn't in the sun. Obviously, the rest of my body had sunscreen on and everything. The comments on that, and I explained to people that this is what I did. I didn't put my face in the sun, and these are the reasons why, and this is the sunscreen that I use. And it was designed to help people. It was designed to help women, because a lot of women do email me and they say, well, what skincare do you use? How do you keep your skin clear, etc., etc. So this is, it was a helpful post. The amount of people on there who said to me, you shouldn't waste your time trying to look so young. Nobody's going to give a shit about you, what you look like when your career is over. I kid you not, these are the kind of comments that I had. You should try to have more fun instead of giving a shit about what you look like. I'm like, hang on a minute, I'm fucking stood on a fucking beach in Abu Dhabi. It's crystal clear water, and the sand is white and the sea is blue. And you're telling me I'm not having fucking fun? I've been on vacation for like a month. It just drives me nuts. And there's also comments on there that were just too rude to bring up. But it was very, very interesting, people's psychology. And obviously there was a lot of women on there who said thank you, and it's really interesting. What sunscreen do you use, and etc., etc. Because as a woman, it's very hard to find a sunscreen that A, doesn't make your makeup slide off, and B, doesn't block your pores. So these things are, for us chicks, they're really important to know. So yeah, it was just really interesting, and the the perception of what people have. You know, it was one image and people were saying, oh my God, you're so extreme. And I was like, calm down. Like, it's one freaking image. Like, calm down, settle down. It's not a big deal. But yeah, it was very interesting. So I left all the comments up there anyway. So if anyone wants to go and have a little look, it's on my Facebook
Rachel,
page.
I should re-edit this bit of the podcast and go back over yours and put a bleeper in. So I was on this beep, beep, and I was doing beep, and I was doing a beep.
I did warn you. I did warn you that this could be an explicit one. Plus, it was a bit of a rant. So I did. I'm sorry. I did drop a few F-bombs.
Feisty little Welsh girl. Do you know what? This is right. When we talk about strength of character and what annoys us as a person, I've got a very strong sense of character, and obviously I put a lot of information out online and I talk a lot about different stuff. And when people, you know, write, and it does happen quite rarely, and when people write a comment like, that was a load of bullshit, or why don't you just go and do this, or they just say all sorts of random stuff, and I see those comments and I'm like, whatever, you're a douche. But the only thing that does annoy me, and I don't think anyone will ever, I don't think there's a way to get around this, because people end up questioning your morals, but I will only ever get annoyed or upset or kind of question things when people judge my sense of character and my values, because my values are me, and they then question me as a person. So what really gets me is, obviously there's a certain amount of people that follow your work in certain areas of your life, and I talked about this on a previous podcast about a particular sort of fitness professional that, you know, like to sort of question my work or troll it or whatever you want to call it, and he would sort of always make these comments based on my work sort of 3 years ago-ish. And I'd sort of sit there and go, do you know what, this actually annoys me just a little bit, because you're questioning my sense of character. And I know that what I do, my values and the work that I promote and what I talk about is not the work that you're kind of accusing me of, or the things that I do. And I think, you know, you've either got to do two things. You've got to take that environment head on and deal with it and say, I'm going to show you why this isn't the case, and I'm going to be very honest and open and be very upfront, but I'm also going to be very kind and sincere about it, because I'm not trying to create an argument. Or you take yourself completely away from that environment, you shut it off, you alienate it. And this is, you know, we can relate all of this to weight loss, muscle gain, environment, friends, family, business, psychology, whatever, about environments that you want to be in and around. And this is why Facebook and social media can be so dangerous, is because unfortunately every idiot has an opinion. So you need to, you know, block off these people, whether it might be friends, family, or whatever, that are derailing how you feel psychologically as an individual. So there's, you know, and I rarely block anyone from any of my social media, because I feel that I want to be 100% honest. I will answer anyone's questions, and I will deal with any criticism head on and give my answers for it. And so, you know, take this advice on board. People need to do it with, you know, friends and family, with people that they know, environments that they're in, because these days you can see an awful lot of negative stuff on Facebook. So get yourself away from it. Get yourself into a positive environment that you feel happy in, because otherwise it will derail all the stuff that you want to do. We know every time something that hits us personally happens in our life affects everything else. Always. It's the one thing that you think about all day, and it affects everything. So you have to know how to manage your environment to keep your psychological state in a good place.
I agree. And just one thing on that, you know, with trolls on Facebook, I know everybody gets it, but it's one of those things that I think that if you're a strong sense of character, why would you even bother? Like, I just put myself in, like, you know, I know, Ben, you would do the same. If I really, really disagreed with something on Facebook, and it was, you know, whether it would be an argument or whatever, I'd actually private message that person. Like, you know, if it was a piece of research that was incorrectly read, you know, I would privately message that person. Or if I had some form of interest, I'd send a private message. I wouldn't post it, you know, and you certainly don't do it in an abusive, negative manner. That's just general manners. I think that's that's what I'm getting at here. It's just people, just the manners. It's disgusting manners, Ben. It is disgusting manners. That's what I'm trying to say in a very polite way.
Well, we've successfully rambled on about hopefully something coherent for people for the last 40 minutes, and we should probably look to wrap up the show, and all those questions that we have we'll save for podcast 121. If anyone's thinking who on earth is the guest to rescue Rachel and Ben's ramblings next week, I don't actually know. I don't have something concrete in the diary because I've been off work so long. But hopefully it'll be someone brilliant. So I suppose summarising what we've talked about today, we might not have gone over a huge amount of kind of like knowledge or content in this kind of podcast, but I think we've gone over some really, really important stuff when it comes to your own character and you as an individual, and investing in yourself as a person, and having a strong sense of character as well will link back to the investment in yourself. If you're a strong sense of character, you love yourself, you value where you're going and the developments you want to make, then you are more willing to invest in yourself. Because otherwise you won't feel that you won't think that you're worth it. And this is probably a real classic with females, in that if they don't have a real strong confidence and they see someone that can help them, but that's obviously a financial outlay, they might be sitting there thinking, I'm not worth that. I'm not worth that improvement to take me to where I want to get to, because other people don't see me as being worth out, or it's too hard to change. And you know what? In some environments, change is tough. And asking for help for a lot of people can be tough. If someone is seen as successful and they want to reach another level of successfulness, asking for help from someone else that's successful can pain that person sometimes, because there's so many other people that see them as successful. And that can happen in any work, life, health, fitness environment. Asking for help can be painful, but it's where you will get the best progress in life, working out how to nail your self-confidence, self-resilience, and being able to ask for help for someone else to guide you, because everyone needs guidance.
And everybody has insecurities. So I think, sometimes just picking up on something that you said there, where women in particular think that they're not worthy of spending money on a coach in order to be able to look a certain way. Obviously with Athletic Fox, I do work with a lot of women, and I like, particularly one-on-one, like I see these women sometimes and they are unbelievable. They're incredible mums, they're incredible wives, they've got amazing careers, some of them. And as a friend, I often become quite good friends with my one-on-one clients, and as a friend, like, I greatly respect them and I look up to them, and I am in awe of some of them. So it does work two ways. You can't put your coach on this this idea that nothing is wrong in their life and they have no insecurities, because we do, but it's and nobody's perfect. But as what's that hair brand in the UK that says, because you're worth it? L'Oreal.
Yeah, L'Oreal.
Yeah. Is that still going, or am I going way back?
I don't know.
That shows how long I've been out of the UK.
I never watch any TV with an advert in it, because if I've
that 10 second they go, because you're worth it.
Because you're worth it. I hope they do. But to be honest, that's an amazing slogan.
It is, isn't it, right?
It's a very empowering phrase. You are worth it. You are. Everyone's worth everything that they want to achieve. So if you're sitting here right now and you're kind of questioning anything that you might want to achieve or do or change and make, you are worth it. You can do it. You've just got to make the right change, make the right goal, realign yourself, have the self-confidence, remove the people that potentially could be negative or derail that, or even better, just don't even tell them. Do you know what? There's a huge amount that I don't tell anyone else in my environment. I might be in a bar with some friends or whatever, and they might be like, so what are you up to? And I'll tell them like 2 things that I think is like a safe thing that won't really be questioned, or whatever, depending on the friend group that I'm in. And that way I don't put myself in an environment where that person could potentially question my thoughts on that thing that I'm trying to achieve or trying to do or whatever. And sometimes that's the safest way. People usually want to tell everyone about their stuff. That's the world that we live in. We're excited about the things that we want to do, but maybe keep things closer to your chest. Maybe just don't tell anyone. Maybe just make up some shit excuse. It's like coming back to the alcohol thing, and you might not want to drink because you're chasing a goal. You might not want all the sugar that's in the fucking drinks that are around these days and stuff. You just say, do you know what, I'm driving, so I'm just going to have some water. I'm driving, yeah, whatever. You just always think around an easy way out of the situation, or just don't put yourself in that situation. But whatever you want to achieve, you can bloody well do it. And you do have the power in yourself.
As Nike says, just do it.
Just do it.
Because you're worth it.
Because you're worth it. So joining those slogans together is quite apt. Right, we'll wrap up the show. It's 45 minutes already. Woohoo! The Academy is launching soon, so any ambitious personal trainers that want a group of 8 coaches to mentor them through the next year in their nutrition knowledge, then you should get to bodytypenutrition.co.uk and click on the Academy page. Check it out. It's not a course book. We don't just send you a book. You go through 52 weeks of live lectures, interaction, documents, all sorts of stuff, case studies, exams. It's full on and very interactive. So don't think we're like any course or textbook type course. We're not. And there's very few people out there doing what we do. And I say very few people, it's because we do have a good handful of imitators these days. It seems like we've done a good thing and we're leading the way. So don't be wary of those imitators. And if you're in Scotland or Ireland, look out for the conference details that will be coming very soon. And if you want any more information from me, you know where to find me. I'm everywhere, Ben Coomber, on all the social platforms. And I can imagine you're already following me on those platforms anyway. And if you want to check out Rachel, you need to go to athleticfox.com.
That's correct. That's my main website, and most of the other stuff, I'm just updating that website now with the 21BBB, which is my 21-day program. Otherwise, I have the athleticfoxblueprint.com, which is more geared towards a long-term fat loss solution, and particularly with balance. I do have a lot of confidence building aspects within that program, so it's very much a holistic program. And you can follow me also on Twitter, on Instagram @athleticfox, and on Facebook, Rachel Guy Fit Pro.
Awesome.
I think.
Right.
I've said it so many times I can't even remember now. I just find me on Facebook. Just type my name, Rachel Guy. You'll find me. I'm there. So I'm everywhere too.
The next show will be with a guest. What that guest will be, I don't know. But in the meantime, especially podcast 1117 to this one, so 1119, really let what we've said sink in. Really work and sit down and be reflective. And if you need to work on this stuff, please do it. If you sat here and gone, oh, I know a lot of that stuff, I'm really appreciative of what they've said, it's kind of doubled up on some information, rather than just discarding this information, give it to someone that needs it. And that's probably a real gift, you know. And sometimes that's a hard conversation to breach, to say to someone, by the way, I think you need this. Just sort of say to people, do you know what, I listened to this and I think it could really help. I just think it's an amazing piece of information. It's 45 minutes long. Go have a listen to these guys. I really like them. Find someone in your environment that could really benefit from this information. I've told personal trainers this for ages. You can't be scared of other people giving out good information and think it detracts from your business. It doesn't. It adds business. If you can give information to other people to help them, they will value you even more as an individual.
100%.
Anyway,
well, I think this has been a good start to the year, and it's funny that, you know, sometimes when you talk about things and, you know, you do sit, you know, I've certainly spent, you know, my 16-hour flight coming back from Dubai staring at the ceiling with no headphones on, no movies, and you just kind of go into this daze of, okay, what do I really want to achieve this year? And a lot of what we've talked about today is actually kind of the stuff that I was thinking about during my flight. So it was very interesting, and we may have digressed a little bit. I may have had a little bit of a rant and dropped some F-bombs. For that, I'm truly sorry, but, shit happens.
Yeah, you filthy mouth bitch.
Bad language. I know. I'm sorry, Rachel. You're a really bad girl. You're a really naughty girl. I know. I am sorry. But this should be a really good start to 2015, and I will be on the show in 2 weeks' time. So until then, have a cracking start to the year, and look forward to chatting then.
Yeah, right. That's goodbye from Rachel, and it's goodbye from me. I will see you next week. Ciao.
Ciao.
Hi everyone, Ben Cooper Radio, episode number 118. Now, I hope you're all awesome. If you're not, why not? Maybe this episode will help you look to iron out your lack of awesomeness. Who knows?